Hello guys, today we read the new chapter of Inscripted Science Class 5. Chapter name Plants Reproduction, Chapter 5. Let us start the chapter. Introduction. You have learned that many plants reproduce with the help of their flowers. Most flowers develop into fruits which bear seeds under creating conditions. Seeds germinate from new plants. However, not all plants need to reproduce. For example, the onion in the picture above can grow into a new plant. Let us learn more about the method by which plants reproduce. Method of reproduction. There are two methods of reproduction in plants: sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction. Many living things reproduce using reproductive cells called gametes. The gametes from the male parent fuse with the gametes from the female parent fuse to form a single cell called zygote. The zygote grows into a new individual. The process by which two parents produce a new individual with the help of gametes is called sexual reproduction. The new individual is not identical to either of the parents. In plants, sexual reproduction leads to the formation of seeds that can germinate into new plants. Mung, balsam, pea, and sunflower are examples of plants that reproduce sexually. Asexual reproduction. In some living things, new individuals are formed from a single parent without involving gametes. The process by which a single parent produces without gametes and forms a new individual is called asexual reproduction. The new individual is identical to the parent. Many plants that do not reproduce flowers, such as ferns and mosses, can reproduce asexually. Some flowering plants also reproduce asexually using created parts of the plants. For example, a cutting from the stem of a rose plant can grow into a new plant. Sexual reproduction in plants. The flowers are the reproduced organ in many sexually reproduction plants. The anther of each statement male reproductive part has several pollen sacs that contain tiny pollen grains. The pollen grains contain the male gametes called sperm cells. The original of the carpel, female reproduced part, contain one or more ovules. The ovules contain the female gametes called egg cells. Pollination. The anther of the flower matured and release pollen grains. Pollination takes place when these pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of the same flower or another flower. This is carried out by various agents of pollination, such as insects, birds, wind, water, and so on. Filtration. Once the pollen grains land on the stigma, it develops a small thin tube called the pollen tube. The pollen tube grows thought the style to reach the original. This allowed to the sperm cells to travel from the stigma to the ovary. The sperm cells fuses with the egg cells is the ovule. From a zygote, the process of furnish of male and female gametes is called filtration. Formation of fruits and seeds. After filtration, the ovary begins to develop into a fruit. Other parts of the flower include the spicles and petals, dry up and fall off. At the same time, the ovules in the ovary begins to develop into seeds. The outer covering of each seed usually became touch or hurt, forming a protective combination called the seed coat. Within the seeds is the baby plant or embryo. One or more fleshes structure called seed leaves of cotyledon supply the embryo with nutrients. By the time the fruit matures or ripens, the seeds within it are mature and ready for display. Germination of seeds. Seeds usually need soil and the right amount of water, air and warmth to germinate. At first, the seeds coat soften. The root and shoot break through seeding. As the seeding grows, the cotyledon from the cyclone, but when the first leaf of the plant emerges, the sliding starts to make its own food. Seeds disappear if too many seeds germinate into the same area. The plant compete with each other for nutrients, sunlight, water, and space. So, it is important for seeds to be transported away from the parent and from each other. This transportation of seeds is called seed dispersal. Seed dispersal helps to eliminate competition and allows a greater number of new plants to survive. Dispersal by wind. Seeds that are dispersed by wind and small light and have struggles that help them to be carried away by wind. Maple and drumstick seeds have wing-like struggles, and dandelion seeds have fine hair. Dispersed by water. The seeds of plants that grow near water bodies are mostly dispersed by water. These seeds either have a space inside them or a fibrous outer covering the trapped air. So the seeds are light enough to float on water. These seeds also have hard provide cells. The seeds of coconut, lotus and water lily plants are dispersed by water. Dispersed by animals. Many animals include human help in seeds dispersal. Some animals eat the fleshy fruit and throw the seeds away from the plant. Sometimes animals swallow the seeds along the juicy flesh of fruits such as guava and daisy. These seeds have a hard outer covering that protects them from being disturbed. The seeds passed out of the body in the face of the animal and later germinate into new plant. Some animals such as squirrels store nuts and other seeds to eat them later. These seeds may germinate into new plants. Some seeds have hooked spines or bunches on their surface. For example, the seeds of the cucumber have an outer spinner cover. Such seeds get attached to the fur of animals and are carried away from the parent plant. Despaired by exclusive of fruit. Plants like the pea plants and blossom plant have seeds that are enclosed by a pod. When these pods mature and dry up, they burst open on exclusive thrust, scattering the seed. Asexual reproduction in plants. Vegetative reproduce. The part of a plant that helps it to leave the growth such as the stem, leaves or root are called its vegetative part. The process by which a plant uses its vegetative part to reproduce is called vegetative reproduction or vegetative programmation. Vegetative reproduction can take place from roots, stem and leaves. From roots, the radish, turnip, carrot and sweet potato plants store from in their roots. These roots, when planted, grow into new plant. From stem, many plants reproduce using their stem. Here are some examples. The stem of the plant grows under the ground and stores food. Its surface has bud called eyes, from which new shoots and root grow. If the potato is cut into pieces and planted, the pieces that have eyes will grow into new plants. Such a stem is called a tuber. The stem of the ginger plant also grows underground and is called a rhizome. Root and shoot grows from the nodes. Water lily and turmeric plants also reproduce from rising. The stem of an onion is considered and surrounded by fleshy leaves to form a bulb. When the bulb is plated, it grows a new plant. Garlic leaves and turmeric plants are also have buds. The stem of a strawberry plant grows along the surface of the soil. Root and shoot grow from new plant at the nodes. This type of stem is called a stolon or runner. The mint plant and some grasses also have runoff from leaves in Bigroplia. Tiny plants grow along the edges of plants. The leaves. These tiny plants fall to the ground and grow into individual plants. Artificial method of vegetative programmation. We can also use artificial method to program plants using their vegetative part. These methods are used to produce more plants that have useful characteristics. For example, cutting is a method in which a part of the stem of the plant is cut and planted in soil. This stem grows into a new plant. This method is completely used to propagate rose, hibiscus and sugarcane plants. You will learn more about artifacts method of vegetative programmation in higher class. Sporage formation. Non-flowering plants like mosses and ferns reproduce using tiny reproductive stragglers called spores. The spores are spotted in capsules. The capsules burst when they mature. The realizes spores. The spores grow into new plant when the condition and suitable.